Good morning, everybody. I finally get a haircut today, thank God. So somebody asked me, what type of vitamins do I take? And we were talking a little bit about food. This is a perfect example of your journey is your journey. So I take a whole bunch of stuff, but what I do now is not even close to what I did years ago. And what I did years ago was very beneficial for me, but that isn't going to work for me now. So let me talk about that. So when I started out with health and fitness, what I needed to massively change was get away from meats. I needed to get away from processed foods. I needed to get away from things like that. So when I first did that, I went to pastas and I went to vegetables, and I went mostly to fruit juices. I juiced a ton, and most of it was fruit. So I did that for a long time, and then I figured out that I had food allergies later in life. So then I had to change all kinds of stuff. So the pastas had to become not gluten.
Here's a reminder. No.
Alexa keeps talking to me. So the pastas had to go to rice pastas. And then I had to do...
Here's a reminder. No.
Alexa, stop. So the pastas had to go to rice-based pastas. I had to change everything that I used to eat a lot of cheese because I was worried about meat, but I didn't worry about dairy, so I had to get rid of that. I told you when I first started, I had fruit juices until noon. Then we figured out that shot your blood sugar up too much. And so that was a bad idea. So then I started changing all of those things. And then as I got older in life, the things that I was told not to do years ago, now they wanted me to do. So, meaning eat meat. I didn't eat meat for like 30 years, but then all of a sudden it became, well, that's a good idea. The point is this. Wherever you are on your journey is where you need to be. And you need to deal with the things that are most impactful at that time, and then learn as you go. So when I first started, I had been drinking a lot of alcohol. I'd been eating a lot of foods that inflamed my body. Everything in my body was not working the way that it needed to be. My whole body was inflamed. When you're in that situation, you're not worried about little tweaks. Okay, where I'm at now with my health is little tweaks. I do blood work every 3 times a year, and I test all my levels. I test how the pituitary is doing, how's the adrenal gland doing, where are my hormones at, how are those things affecting me. I wear an Oura ring that shows me how my sleep is. I'm actually in the middle of 2 weeks of doing a glucose meter. So I'm doing a meter watching how different foods affect my blood sugar and what foods are good for me to eat, what carbs are good for me to eat, and what carbs are not good for me to eat, which, by the way, has been really enlightening. Now, if I had done that 15 years ago, everything that I ate would have shot that through the roof, and it wouldn't have mattered. That wouldn't have shown me anything. I needed to do something more dramatic in order to get my body back to a state where you can start doing it. So think about it this way. Can you have a 40 or 50-year-old Ferrari and still have it be beautiful, still have it perform at an incredibly high level? It can be sexy, it can be stunning. Can it still be all those things? Absolutely. Does it take a little bit more work than a brand new Ferrari when you've got a Ferrari that's 40 or 50 or 60 years old, or even 80 years old? Yeah, it takes a little bit more work. It's a little bit harder to do, and it takes a little bit more tweaking than with a brand new Ferrari. But can you take a brand new Ferrari and turn it into something that doesn't work? Absolutely. Can you make it so that it's something that doesn't function at all? And by the way, what's the quickest way to do that? Ignore it. The quickest way to do that is to park it somewhere and never touch it. Then when you go to operate that vehicle, it will not operate at all. If you operate it too much without taking care of it, then it'll break down, but it'll take it a little while to break down. With an older vehicle, if you operate it too much without taking care of it, it will break down quicker. So we're no different. So it's where are you at on the spectrum? You know, are you at that level where the Ferrari has been completely restored, it's in great shape, and so it just needs to be tweaked? If that's the case, you got to pay a little bit more attention to it than a brand new one, but it can still perform at that level with just a little bit of effort. Or are you the car at the beginning of the movie Christine? And if you're not old enough to remember that reference, then you can look it up. An amazing car, but at the beginning of the movie, it was a total mess. Remember, there's a moment in the movie where one guy says he put brand new windshield wipers on a busted windshield. That doesn't make any sense. One of the things people do with their health is they have everything in the world going on wrong, and they try to do weird, tweaky little things. They try to get drops, or they try to get some powder, or they try to get some magical miracle cure, okay? There is no magical miracle cure. When you've got the Christine car, that everything is wrong with it, there is no one little miracle cure that's going to make that car beautiful again. You got to start from the beginning. So if your body's in that situation, then you've got to start from the beginning. That's why the juice fasts and those types of things work, because it interrupts your pattern, and you got to get your body back to a basic level before you can start tweaking. Because when everything is going haywire, everything you test is going to be bad. So there's no way to really know, well, is it this one thing or this one thing? It's everything. So you got to stop all the bad stuff, get back to the basics, let it calm down, and then you can start building where you're tweaking. This is true with everything. This is true with your finances. This is true with your business. This is true with your relationship. So the point is, be realistic about where you are, and then make a decision, and then just take those little steps. Remember, if we only improve 1% a day, that's it. Just 1% from where you were yesterday. At the end of the year, that's not 365%. That's 1% compounded at the end of that year. The changes in your life will be overwhelming and dramatic. You'll look back and decide, wow, I'm not even close to being the same person that I was. So be realistic about where you are. Your journey is your journey. So just because what somebody else is doing with their health works for them doesn't mean that it's going to necessarily work for you. We're all a little bit different. And it's a never-ending learning process. That's the case with everything. So commit today to constant and never-ending improvement. That's the phrase that we use in the Tony Robbins world, CANI. Just make a decision that you're going to improve a little bit every day in the areas that you're focusing on. You know, you remember that wheel of life. And if you just do that, if every day we take a little bit of a step further, by the end of the year, you're going to have made huge changes in your life. And by the end of your life, you're going to have done the things that you want to do. Alex Trebek died a couple of days ago. His last episode of Jeopardy that he filmed was October 29th, I believe. And I heard an interview that was done of him a couple of months ago. And they asked him about dying. And he said, and he wasn't a super religious guy, but he said, I'm not afraid of dying. I'm 79 years old, and I've lived a great life. I've done what I've wanted to do. I'm going to keep doing what I want to do, and hopefully these treatments are going to work, and I'm going to be okay. But if it doesn't work out that way, then, so be it. I'm not afraid of death. It's the next step. It's the thing that we all have to face, and I've done what I want to do. To me, that should be our goal at the end. At the end of this journey, if you get the opportunity to live a long life, and even if you don't, that you'll have done what you wanted to do during those times, during the days that you have. So, Thank you for watching, everybody. I'll say hi to everybody. It's amazing how many people we got up at 4:45 in the morning. My Uncle Bill, Mr. Drehobel, great to see you. Andy Williams, great to see you this morning. Scott Corbin is on. Kelly Woods Clark, Mary Kaufman are watching. Thank you very much, guys. My uncle's given me a lot of compliments. I will respond to those in time. Have a great day, everybody. We're all in this together. Let's take care of each other.